Welcome once again to this week's edition of Midway Coach's Corner. I'm Joe Kropinski, head men's basketball coach here at Midway University. I'm joined by Alan Foster, our head women's basketball coach once again. Coach, welcome.
Glad to be here. Semester's winding down.
Last week of class here in the Eagle Empire. You gave your final exam yesterday in your class, I understand.
Yep. Last week, gave my final, and I often refer to this as an extra credit request week because every student wants an extra credit assignment. But yeah, things are winding down, a little high stress amongst the students this week during finals.
And the staff probably too.
And the staff as well.
I will say that as I was sitting in my office the other day, I did hear somebody coming around the hall and around the corner in the hall and saying that clearly on Intro to Sports Management has done its part to stamp out ignorance here in the college.
We try.
And I think we succeeded in that.
It was a 16-week endeavor.
Well, we're right up against the end of the semester here, and that means we're winding up our first semester of contests here in the Eagle Empire. And this week in Eagle Athletics, we had quite a few contests for the week after Thanksgiving here. Women's basketball went 2-0. Coach wins over Welch down there in Tennessee, and then opening up the conference play with a win here at home over IU Kokomo on Saturday.
Yeah, I had a good week. Enjoyed the break, came back and kind of got things going. Thursday night, went down to Tennessee and played Welch College and had a really good showing. Had a really good defensive showing, and they really, we really held them, down on the scoreboard, and got an opportunity for everybody to play and kind of get back in the flow with things, and then came back and opened up conference Saturday against IU Kokomo, who we knew was one of the top teams in the league and won the division last year, and didn't play very well the first half, but came back the second half and played much better and was able to get out of there with a close victory to start our conference season 1-0. So it's a good week for the girls, entering into finals, and so we're hoping they're being as successful in the classroom this week as they were on the court last week.
Yeah, for sure. We also play. We did not have a non-league game this week, but we opened up our conference play with IU Kokomo on Saturday as well, which went a lot better for Kokomo than it did on the women's side. Honestly, played uphill the whole game. After the first 5 or 6 minutes, honestly, Kokomo, who is picked to win the league and has a lot of veteran guys back from last year's national tournament team, and they made a lot of shots, and we did not as the game went on.
And I know, Coach, none of us like to make excuses. You're also playing a little undermanned. You're down a few players for injuries and things like that too.
Yep.
So it's not really your full allotment of firepower.
No. But like you said, nobody's feeling sorry for us, and everybody has their own problems, so we have to figure that out going forward. But we are down 2 of our top 7, and then we did have another guy get hurt immediately at the start of the game. So it was a tough game, but clearly did not play up as well as we would have liked in that game. Also this week we had wrestling, which we talked to Coach Brumble last week. They went out that night and had their first dual meet and came up just short against Kentucky Wesleyan, Division II program in state here. Went down to the last match.
I understand, last match, and had a chance to win it, and just came up a little bit short in that last match.
So I know they got one more here before the holidays. So I know we'll talk about that. When we preview next week coming up. We were going to talk with Coach Hall in the bowling program this week. They just got back from the Super Bowl up in Erlanger in the Thomas More Classic, and both the men and the women finished 5th. So
good finishes.
Pretty solid showing, I think, for them up at that event. And we'll have a chance to talk to him a little bit about that in the next segment, as well as Taylor Petrey, who's having a terrific freshman year on the women's side. For bowling. And then finally, track and field opened up their indoor season over at the Jingle Bells Open at
Jingle
UK.
Bells Open. Okay.
We didn't know it was called the Jingle Bells Open until just now, but that's what it was. So
I'm assuming the one-horse open sleigh won that event.
I think they were the leader, certainly the leader around the stretch.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that they probably came through on top. But we had a lot of great efforts in that. We had 9 personal records on the men's side and 6 on the female side.
Oh, good.
Obviously, we've had female track a little bit longer than men's track, but still, that's a great showing. Montez Moore and Dylan Simpson came through with some really good efforts on the men's side. We had 3 female athletes set school records Lauren Seeley in the shot put and the weight throw on the indoor side. We had Isabella Hayden in the 60 and Abby Sparks in the 200 and the 400. All set school records this weekend over in UK. So.
Congratulations, though, those athletes. It's always good when you can be at the top of some leaderboard, and so we look forward to hearing more good news from them if they're already setting records this early.
For sure, for sure. I think that about does this week, Coach. But we're going to come back here real quick with Michael Hall, the architect of the Midway Bowling Empire.
Exactly. Started our bowling program, and looking forward to hearing how that's been going here in its first year. And a lot of questions we've had texted in about college bowling that I didn't know, don't know the answers to. So we're going to get the answers to some of the viewer questions about college bowling, and I think it'll be a great segment. Look forward to talking to him.
All right, so come on back, and we'll be back with Coach Hall and Taylor right after this. All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. We're here today. We had some spare time, and we decided to strike while the iron was hot. And we've got Michael Hall, our head bowling coach here at Midway, and Taylor Petrey, a freshman on the women's team, obviously the founder of Midway Bowling. Godfather, if you will, of Midway Bowling, Michael Hall, and a member of the first team ever, Taylor Petrey. Welcome to the Coach's Corner.
Welcome.
So you guys are into your season now. Had about 4 or 5 tournaments or so up to this point. How's it gone so far here in the first year?
First year's been pretty good. I think we've had about 8 tournaments so far, to be honest with you. Yeah, we had 4 alone in October. That was our busy month, but we've been pretty good, hitting the ground running with all freshmen. So we started off, it was a learning experience for everyone, but now we're doing pretty good. Yeah.
And Taylor, this is obviously your introduction to collegiate bowling and to Midway. How has your experience been thus far here in the first semester?
It's actually been really cool. I was used to the high school, knowing everybody that I was competing against, and it's really nice to be in college now and compete against teams I've watched on TV and stuff like that, so it's really neat.
Coach, you're another one that has started up a program here at Midway. So you have some past experience, obviously, as a collegiate bowling coach. So tell us how it's been different starting a program from scratch versus walking in and inheriting a team already.
Okay, that's a good question. Well, when I got my coaching career, I started at the high school level, and the team was established, and it was a really good team. And then, of course, starting a program, you are recruiting from all different walks, different states, different cities, and so everyone comes in, like Taylor said, as you don't know anybody, and so the hard part is getting the team to be able to gel a little bit, getting them to know each other, getting them to trust each other's game, and then just teaching them the difference between high school bowling and collegiate bowling. The rules are very different, so just kind of getting everybody going and acclimated to how we do things at the collegiate level would be the biggest part of starting the program.
Okay. You hit on something that I think one of our texters had even asked. So can you just describe how the college tournaments work and how they're different from high school and different from professional bowling, if there is any difference? Just tell us a little bit about it, because new here at Midway, many of us have not seen collegiate bowling tournaments, and so tell us a little bit about how it all works.
Okay. Typically on a high school tournament or high school matches, high schools go against each other, each school. At the collegiate level, we are strictly tournaments. So any tournament that we can go to will have between 10 and 20 or 30 schools there.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like we just go in and we can say, hey, we won our match, or we won our tournament. We got to be on our game in order to win. So that's a little bit difference between high school and collegiate. The other difference is, is where we bowl a lot more games. So we'll bowl 5 or 6 individual games, and then we'll turn around the next day and we'll do either 12, 14, or 16 Baker games. So a Baker game is when you have 5 bowlers bowl 1 game. So for instance, you have the first frame will bowl the first and the 6th frame, the second person will bowl the 2nd and the 7th frame, the third person 3 games, and so on. So that's a Baker game. So we'll do 16 of those on Sunday. Now there's some days or some tournaments where we'll do those 6 games and 16 Bakers in one day.
Wow.
So we can be there from 8 in the morning, until 6 or 7 at night, so that's a little bit different. And then as far as the professional level, there's not much difference because they have the teams at the professional level where they also do Bakers, you know, and so.
Okay. Taylor, so since that's the difference, it sounds like to me a lot more bowling in a college bowling tournament than in a high school match. How have you prepared condition-wise differently for bowling perhaps that many games in a day?
I think it's really just preparing yourself before, so like going into the bowling alley and putting in a bunch of reps before to like build your body up to get used to that amount of work. It does put a lot of wear and tear on your body. You'll be sore the next day, but it's all about growth, just like any other sport.
Okay.
I think we can all sympathize with being sore following it with physical activity on this side of the table. So Taylor, now you're a freshman from Corbin, Kentucky, down in the south, further in the south part of the state, and you. We should mention this. Taylor had a great performance this past week at the Super Bowl. We talked about the Super Bowl up in Erlanger, where and you were named the Mid-South Bowler of the Week. Who, based on our research, which has to be true. Taylor is the first freshman ever to be named the Bowler of the Week in the Mid-South Conference. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's outstanding.
Great deal.
What was, did you feel, what you felt was, or wasn't anything different this weekend, or did things just start come together, or how did you have that performance? What led to that?
So I think that up to this point in college, it has been a huge learning experience. I think 99% of bowling is all mental, because you have to get up and focus on every shot no matter what happened in the frame before or what people are doing beside you. And so I feel like everything this weekend just kind of came together for my learning experience mentally and physically, bowling on different patterns.
Excellent. And that actually leads us into a question from Janice in Pennsylvania. Yet another week where we get a question from Jan in Pennsylvania, so thank you for that.
Thank you, Jan.
And this question is for Coach Hall. Explain what oil patterns are and how you practice for the different oil patterns.
Okay.
And I will say that when we posed this question to Coach earlier, he said, "Oh, that's an easy one." And I said, "Well, I'm glad there's somebody in this room because I was unfamiliar with that." So tell us.
Well, with a lot of people, they don't realize that the oil on the lane determines what your ball reaction is going to do. So to kind of make it as simple as possible, you can put different patterns on the lane, which means you can put oil in different areas of the lane. You can put more oil in the middle, you can put less oil on the sides, or you can, vice versa. So that'll give you a different ball reaction. So people wonder why people go into the bowling alley with 5 or 6 bowling balls. Well, it depends on the pattern. So they can put that oil 40 feet down the lane, they can put the oil 53 feet down the lane, they can put the oil 30 feet down the lane.
It's like a home lane advantage.
Well, yes, kinda. So the difference of the oil pattern will determine if your ball's gonna hook a lot, if your ball's not gonna hook a lot. So the way we prepare for our tournaments, so what we did this past week, we didn't know what the tournament oil was gonna be, and so we just did different patterns every day for practice. So one practice we put down a 53 foot, and then I think we put a 43 foot, and then we went to 40. So it gives these guys a chance to bowl on all patterns, so then when we showed up to the tournament, they were kind of familiar with what it was.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, tell us a little bit about how the tournament went for your teams. I know Taylor had a great weekend.
Yeah, Taylor had a great weekend, and just to talk a little bit about Taylor. Taylor comes in at practice, and she does put the work in. She's one of the ones that showed up. We had individual practices, and she really put a lot of work into her game, so she really deserved what she got this weekend. But team overall, the guys finished 5th, the girls finished 5th as well. Okay. I think the girls missed 4th by about 40, the guys missed about 30, I believe, or vice versa. And then our JV team, they actually won their division, so that was actually a victory for us.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of positive things going on this weekend, but like I said, the team comes in and they put the work in, so they deserved it.
It's like any other sport.
Yes.
Coach, I know the question that's burning in everybody's mind, at least in mine. So which oil pattern is it that makes your ball go in the gutter? That's the one that I bowl on all the time.
Well, to be honest, I think we bowled on some of those too.
Oh, okay.
So.
I know now it's not me. I'm blaming the oil pattern, right? It's the oil pattern.
That's what I'm using. And my question along those lines is I'm from the Northeast originally, so I grew up bowling, Candlepin bowling.
Okay.
Do we have any, is there any thought of starting that at the collegiate level? Because I want to apply for that coach.
No, I'll probably say no to that.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank Taylor and Coach for joining us this week. Obviously, you guys are done for the semester now?
Yes, yes.
And then when do you pick up after the break?
We'll pick up, I believe it's January 23rd.
Okay.
Yep, and then I think we have 4 tournaments next semester, and then we go into championships. So
Where will that be? Where will the championships?
our championships will be in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
How appropriate.
How upright. How the Super Bowl.
Bowling Green.
Right, right. And one thing to add to, with bowling, a lot of people don't know, we're sanctioned by USBC as well. So USBC invites the top 80 schools to go to the USBC Nationals.
Okay.
And right now, the guys are sitting in 83rd.
Okay.
And I think the
Close.
girls are in like 92nd.
Okay.
So we still have the second semester to be invited to.
And where would that go? Where would that
That would be in Vegas. Well, first of all, the sectionals would depend on where we finish, and then the championships are in Vegas.
That's the sectional you want to be in, the Vegas sectional.
Yes, that's where we want to go.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, some extra supervision on that.
Are you volunteering for that, Coach?
I might be available.
All right. Well, appreciate you stopping by this week. Hopefully, again, watch out for Midway Bowling as we complete our first season here in the Mid-South and as a program. I wish these guys a lot of luck going forward. Hopefully, this was right up your alley this week. This interview, and we'll be right back with more of your viewer questions in the Eagle Empire.
Hope we bowled you over.
There you go. All right, we're back, and you've been waiting for it all week. We've been waiting for it all week, and most importantly, Dylan has been waiting for it all week. It is viewer questions with Dylan Brown, our two-time award-winning River States Conference SID of the Year, directing sports information across the globe. Welcome in, Dylan.
Well, happy to be here. Happy to be here. You guys, how's everyone doing?
Doing good.
We're doing great. It's finals week here. We should mention, Dylan finished his master's degree here at Midway last year. So it's the first time in a while you haven't been in a class.
Yeah.
How's that been? Has that been pretty good?
It's been a relief. It's been a relief.
I'm not sure.
You turn in that last assignment and it's like a big weight lifted off your shoulders. You don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't think I'm going to be going after my doctorate's degree or another master's degree. You never know. Dr. Dylan?
Well, some of us already refer to you as Dr. Dylan. And however, I will say, no offense to Dylan, he knows we kid because we care, but the fact that Dylan is not taking any classes has shown no discernible effect on the quality of sports information here at Midway. It's been about the same.
About the same.
Which he was doing great before, and now he's doing great continue.
I appreciate the compliment.
What do we have this week?
Got,
do we have an anonymous? Did you text in an anonymous question this week or not?
No. What makes you think I'm not the anonymous person? Whoever that is, I haven't heard from him it's been a couple weeks.
All right, well,
I'm waiting to hear back from you.
Here's the real question. Are the questions easier than the intro to sports management?
are they multiple choice?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I heard you, it was quite the rigorous final you got.
It was tough. Just ask the students.
All right. We'll kick it off with one of our most frequent texters, Craig from Iowa. Big fan of the show. He says, for Alan, what did you say to your team at half of your game against IU Kokomo when your team was down? What did you say to them to fire them up and get ready for the second half?
Well, the version that I can put on the air is...
He didn't say keep it clean.
No, we did. We talked about how we had played a lot better all year, and that was one of our worst halves offensively. But we talked about, I complimented our defense for really keeping us in it because we were still only down 9. And we just kind of tried to focus that if we could have the same defensive effort, we were confident our offense would finally get to going, and it did. I think we had 25 points at halftime and finished with like 79, so 54-point outburst in the second half. So it was a lot just trying to remind the girls of the things we've done to be as successful as we have, and that to have confidence the offense would come back, and we made a few adjustments, some things we wanted to do a little differently. But I think it was just kind of refocusing them on that. Hey, just because we're behind, we're not out of it. Our defense had kept us in it, and that our offense is better than it showed. And if we could just have a normal half, we would be okay. And fortunately, we came out with a victory.
All right. This one from from the bullpen and parts unknown. Anybody
Oh.
got any ideas? Got any
Well, when I
ideas?
hear the question, I might have a better idea.
They say, why don't coaches of sports dress in uniform as baseball coaches do?
Sounds like a baseball coach.
I'd like to address this to Coach Bramlett. I think the better question is, why doesn't Coach Bramlett wear a suit like Connie Mack used to? I mean, it was good enough for Connie Mack. He won 1 million games.
He won a lot of games.
He coached for 50 years as a manager of the A's. I mean, why, that'd be my question to you. I don't know.
I propose that we should, up the dress code for baseball coaches, especially the ones at Midway University.
Particularly now when we're going into our brand new facility.
Brand new facility.
We've dressed that up. Why not dress up the staff?
Why dress up the staff? So we'll be looking for Brooks Brothers to be supporting our baseball team.
Men's Warehouse, Crittenden's Fine Clothing, downtown
Fine
Midway.
Clothing,
I'm
downtown.
sure he'd be happy to outfit you there, Coach. In all honesty, I don't know. I don't know why that started. The baseball coaches wear uniforms. I'm not sure where that began. Player coach. I guess player coaches were much more common in baseball.
I think that's probably.
And Bill Russell was a player coach with Bob Cousy at some point in basketball, so they obviously wore uniforms as they coached. But
Many people think LeBron's coached.
that's true. That's true. So I think Bill Belichick's not getting rid of his hoodie
I don't think he's getting
for a helmet. So
Don't think so.
I don't have a great answer other than I think we should turn it around and go the other direction.
Turn around. Reverse the roles.
Yep.
All right. She's starting to become one of our more frequent texters.
Oh, who's that?
Eleanor in Idaho.
Wow. All right.
Eleanor, she's back again week 2.
Western
The Mountain Time Zone.
She did say thank you guys for asking her question not once but twice last week.
Well, thanks for texting it in. That's outstanding.
She's got another good one this week, and this one is a burning one on my mind. I can't wait to hear this answer. She says, "How does that one coach know what horse to pick?"
Alan?
I mean,
I don't think so.
You don't either one.
I don't think she'll be. I don't know what horse to pick.
I'm not sure I do either. I think any.
A little bit of luck involved.
Well, I think there's a lot of luck. I think there's for those of us that follow it in passing, maybe not as closely as others, the professionals who do it. I think first of all, don't listen to anything I say about this stuff because I don't really know what I'm talking about. But if you're asking me, I look for I think you look for the trainer jockey combinations. A lot of times, there are certain trainers that are going to get the better horses. Obviously, just like better coaches, better players are going to go to play for John Calipari and Mike Krzyzewski and these people. So it's the same. All these horse owners give their horses to the better trainers, and they have favorite jockeys. So I look, you look at that. I think you look at, for me, it's like a lot of class drops. What horses have been running?
What have you done lately?
Who they've been running against, and where they slot them in. So, but essentially, it comes down to kind of a roll of the dice. I will say the only thing I will say is that I gave you 1,000 words last week, and it went out and won the Los Alfuturity, I think. So it's on the road. It's on the road to the Derby. So if you were in the future pool, you have them at 34-1 right now. So keep your fingers crossed for 1,000 words.
He says he doesn't know what he's
But he knows
what he's talking about.
He knows.
Me and Alan can tell you. I've watched it. I've seen it in action.
I really don't.
I've seen it in action, All right. So that was corner handicapping. Thank you, Eleanor.
Yep.
Great question again.
We'll be back next week with some more.
Yeah. And here's another question. This one, great experience always. This one from the Eagles Roost tailgate in Midway.
Okay.
Another one of our frequent texters.
Okay. Yep.
Quite often. You guys obviously participated in this. Can you give us your highs and lows of your experience from the recent Last Supper?
Oh, I'd like to first know Dylan's high and low from the last one.
Yes.
It was
What did you think?
it was a great showing. It was a great showing. Lots of I heard over like 200 student athletes.
See, there's the key. There's the key here. You heard that there were over.
You heard. He was not
For those of you out there who aren't familiar, the Last Supper is an event that we have at the Sunday before finals every semester, where we have a late night breakfast that the faculty and staff serve to the students, and we give away prizes and try to get one last push for them. And most of us show up to the event. Not everybody, but most of us do, and it's a really good time.
I apologize.
And Coach, what were you were a man in the tater tots.
Yeah,
tater tot.
Great event, and it's always an opportunity for us as staff to kind of serve our students. And that night before final starts, when they're trying to study, so it's always pulling an all-nighter. It's always a kind of a good break to come in and I've really enjoyed the experience, and like I said, 200 plus some students come through the line at least once. Some came through more than once. And yes, I manned the tater tots,
Yep.
and you know, it was kind of right up my skill alley. I wouldn't have wanted anything more complicated than tater tot serving,
No.
but we served a lot of tater tots, a lot of different ways, on top of biscuits and gravy, besides biscuits and gravy, and lots of different ways. But students are
Both
always.
hands, were you ambidextrous? Or you right hand,
I
left
was,
hand?
I was more a right-handed
Okay,
server
all
than
right,
a left-handed
all right.
server.
That's the scout, Coach
Yeah.
Foster.
But the students were, you know, great coming through the line and really enjoyed it, and a great event. And so, you know, tater tot serving is a sideline of mine, but not my main focus, I don't believe.
I think the basketball
But-
coaching thing is working.
But, Coach, I know you picked up a new skill.
I did. So I somehow got roped into manning the omelet station.
Omelets.
And let me tell you, that was an experience. I want to first off apologize to anybody who ordered an omelet from me. It was the very first ones I'd ever made. I mean, I think by the end there, I was okay. Now, in my defense, the hot plate there was really hit or miss. So you know, if you're not going to give me the proper tools, it's tough to expect a great outcome.
It's tough.
But overall, it was a lot of fun. It was usually I man the mobile trash unit, but they had to throw me back to the omelet. So maybe you know, maybe that's my new niche for the Last Supper. I don't know. I think as here at Midway, you're always happy to help out wherever you're needed.
Exactly.
So that's and it is a really good event to see kind of different sides of students.
But never fear, I believe the coach's corner will continue to talk about sports and handicapping. It will not become a cooking show.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Not for anybody's.
That's good.
For everybody's benefit up there. Well, appreciate the questions. Again, if you have questions that you want to see next week, we'll have one more show prior to the holidays. You're going to want to text them into the HON text line. Dylan, what's that number?
Let me think here.
859.
859-846-5327.
That's the text line, the HON text line. Text your questions to whoever mans that account, and they'll get them together. And then, or you can go on Twitter and tweet them to @GoMidwayEagles using the hashtag Coach's Corner. And you know, we've had some great questions this semester.
Great questions. We got one more show before the
Yeah.
season, you know, before the year's up, before Christmas season hits. So get your questions in for next week's segment.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up with this coming week in Eagle Athletics in the Empire right after this. All right, we are back here at the Midway Coach's Corner. Just a little bit of a preview for this week in Eagle Athletics. Coach, another stellar program
I
today.
think it's been a great show. Bowling segment, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Now have an excuse why my ball goes in the gutter.
Yeah.
So it's going to be golden. You know, I just thought it was a great show. Great show. Taylor's a great young lady.
Yeah, very impressed with her. And truthfully, all the student athletes we've had on have been terrific. You know, and I'm sure that Alicia Tuller is a terrific student athlete, though she didn't show up. So
I'm sure she did.
So far though, all the student athletes have been just outstanding, and we wish them all luck here in their finals this week. On the court and on the mat, we have two places where the Eagle Empire will be this week. Men's and women's basketball, we head out to Brescia University for our second River States Conference doubleheader on Saturday. That is at 2 and 4 Eastern, which of course, as Dylan will tell you, is 1 and 3 Central Standard Time. Coach, tell us a little
But
bit
it's
about Brescia.
2 and 4
2 and
in
4
Owensboro, Kentucky.
It's 1 and 3 in Owensboro,
It's 1 and 3 in Owensboro, Kentucky.
and 2 and 4 in Midway.
And 2 and 4 in Midway.
That's-
But we're playing in
But
Owensboro.
we're playing in
So I
Owensboro.
need to be ready to play at 1.
Play at 1 in Owensboro, I think. Anyway, tell us a little bit about the Brescia women.
Well, you know, they played Asbury last week, who's winning our side of the conference currently, and I think it was a 4-point game. They came up short. So, you know, again, from top to bottom on our side of the league, I think all the teams are really, you know, really good and really competitive. So it's going to be a tough matchup for us when we go over there, and we're going to have to play really well. But we're finishing up finals, and hopefully we're going to have a good 2 or 3 days of practice to get ready for them, and hope we can go over there and get a road win. You know, I shared with the ladies, if you want to win a conference, first thing you have to do is defend your home court. We did that. And then the next thing you got to do is be able to win on the road. So we're going to find out if we can go do that. And but I know it'll be a tough battle, always. All the River States games will be, and so we're going to have to bring our best when we travel over there.
For sure. You might also want to bring some eye black. They have a new gym over there, a couple of years, but the light streams in during day games.
Okay.
So that'd be my advice.
I'll talk to Luther and Trip, see if I can get some out.
You might want to see if you can do that, or maybe like a cap, some sort of, that might be something, for the bench. And then we'll take on Brescia after you at 3 Central. Yeah, I mean they have one of the best players in the league, Coyote DeBucci.
So he was player of the week.
Player of the week this week, the second week in a row. We're facing the previous player of the week. But he's been a 4-year player. He's been a pain in our side for 4 years. Does a lot of things out there. Really a productive player. Rebounds, scores in a lot of different ways. Gets to the line. So good defender. So that's going to be a good test for us, and that's always a tough place to play. And but they played a very, their record's not great, but they played a really difficult schedule.
Right.
One of the toughest schedules so far on our side. So, yeah, we obviously didn't play that well, so we'll have to play a lot better when we head over there to like you said, kind of get a road win and kind of get back on track.
Exactly.
Head into the break. And then wrestling, Coach, will finish up, will be the last team in action, I think.
Right.
On the varsity level this semester. They go up to the Mount St. Joe Open on Sunday up in Cincinnati. And they'll wrestle against Mount St. Joseph's, Lindsey Wilson, and Ancilla.
A series of duels, I believe, where
Yes.
they go team versus team. So interesting to see how they'll stack up against those teams. And I'm sure Jake's wanting them to get finish the season or finish this part of the season to a good, on a good note, and get his kids a good match in before they travel home for Christmas, and then we'll all be back in action next semester.
That's right. Obviously coming off a really tough loss at home there last week.
Yeah, it was a tough loss.
Don't want to avenge that. So, but they're certainly headed in the right direction, I think. And then next week we'll be back with one more episode.
One more episode before the holidays.
And we're working on some things right now. We can't divulge it at the moment.
Can't divulge it now, but it could be big news.
Could be big
for the
news.
final Coach's Corner of 2019.
It's possible. So be on the lookout for that. Be on social media where our crack DSI Dylan Brown will be all over the announcements that you need to know.
Yes, we'll tweet out what time we're going to be taping and where we may be taping from.
That's the only clue we're going to give you right now. Coach, I know before we wrap up, just maybe one quick shout out to the women's JV team.
The women's junior varsity basketball team has had a very good semester. Had a big win down at Lindsey Wilson Sunday afternoon and finished the semester at 7-0, I believe, this semester. So they've had a really good start to their season. A lot of our younger kids, freshmen that are playing on those teams, working on their game and developing their game. So yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah. No pearl of wisdom from Coach this week, I don't think.
Nope, just leave you with the one from last week. For a lot of people have asked me what it meant, so I'm letting people figure it out. But remember, falling feels like flying till you hit the ground.
We'll catch you next week on the Coach's Corner.